Welcome everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is all about our trip to Islamabad. We had taken this trip right before my brother-in-law's wedding and I've never been to Islamabad before, so I thought I'll take you along with me on the trip and share my experience. So let's go to Islamabad. This trip was very spontaneous and last minute, especially with all the wedding prep that was going on. I've been to Pakistan a few times in total, so I've always wanted to explore the different cities of Pakistan. In our last trip to Pakistan, we explored Lahore city and that was a wild experience, y'all. But yeah, this trip to Pakistan was for a limited time and we had a total of about 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks would be spent in like the wedding festivities and then the last week was the start of Ramzan, so we didn't really have much time. So that's why we thought, let's just do the trip. So it was my husband, my brother-in-law, Xavier, and I, along with one of our nephews who went for this trip. My mother-in-law had packed some snacks for us, and especially for Xavier, she had put in some chips and his favorite, chocolates and stuff. And she also ordered us biryani for the way. Alhamdulillah, it was delicious and much needed. So I've heard a lot of different things about Islamabad and I was very curious to visit and see. Since we didn't have much time, we decided to visit the main attractions, which were Faisal Masjid and Monal restaurant. So on the way to Faisal Masjid, I was just looking at like the buildings and the overall infrastructure of the city. I was pretty impressed, to be honest, with the roads and how clean everything was. It was also like very green, lots of greenery in the city. And the buildings reminded me of like the tall apartment buildings that we have in Canada. So that was like nice. I also love that you can see like the hills or the mountains. I believe it's the Margala Hills on the drive to the masjid. It just looked so beautiful, subhanallah. Everything about the city looked beautiful and it had this calm, peaceful vibe, and I've heard a lot about Islamabad from like friends as well as family who's visited before, and they told me a lot of other spots that I should visit, but since we were here for a very short amount of time, like it was just a day trip, so we thought to go to the main popular tourist attractions. As soon as I saw the pillars of Faisal Masjid, I actually got really excited, and that's because I always saw this in pictures and I never really got the chance to visit. The closer we got, the more beautiful it got. Like subhanallah, look at that, it's so beautiful and the architecture is just something else. It's so unique, like there's no other masjid in this architecture, and I think that's why I found it so beautiful and fascinating. As we got closer, we then realized that it was pretty busy. It was quite busy and lots of people here. Look at all these cars, look at all these people. Since it's a main tourist spot, it's always this busy. But yeah, here is my outfit for the day and we were just walking towards Faisal Masjid. It was a really nice day, very sunny and not too hot. It was like the perfect weather for the trip and I was so thankful that there was no rain or gloomy weather, alhamdulillah, because that would have just ruined like everything. That would have ruined the whole vibe. We had actually come here in the afternoon and it was like almost Asr time, so we did get to hear the azan, which I'll share a little clip with you guys in a bit. They did tell us to take off our shoes here at the entrance and there were little like cubbies or boots here where you could put your shoes, but we actually were carrying a backpack, so we ended up putting our shoes in the backpack with us. But yeah, here, let's have a listen to the azan. Subhanallah, the whole environment and like the ambience of the masjid was so nice. It was so calming and peaceful, subhanallah. And I think just the view, like from where I'm standing, as you guys can see, like the masjid, and then you see like the hills all surrounding, and it's nice and, green, lots of trees. It was just really, really beautiful, subhanallah. After the azan, the guys headed in for prayer while I headed up to the ladies section. So the masjid was nice and clean, mashallah. There was this upper portion where you could stand and see like the whole interior of the masjid. So that's where I went first, and that's where it is. So this is where you can see the whole masjid. This is the lower area where the women offer their prayers. Mashallah, the interior of the masjid was beautiful, subhanallah.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهد يا صاحي كي تستريح وغص الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم.
After praying namaz, we headed out and we spent some time out here in the Sehen. We took some pictures and we enjoyed the beautiful weather as well as just the beautiful view. And, Xavier was having so much fun. He was just running around and everyone was trying to catch him, and he was enjoying that moment a lot. I think we came to Faisal Masjid at like the perfect time because look at that view. The sun was, it was slowly almost getting to Maghrib time and the sun was setting, and it was just so beautiful, mashallah. I think especially when you come to these kind of places, your heart just feels at peace and very calm just because you're in, it's a mosque, it's a masjid, it's one of Allah's beloved houses. But yeah, after spending some time in Faisal Masjid, we finally headed to Monal restaurant for dinner. This was one of the top places I wanted to visit because I had seen so many pictures and I had heard good things from my friends. So I was really excited to enjoy this rooftop dinner. The drive was beautiful, mashallah. And since it was Maghrib time, there was a beautiful sunset happening as well. But yeah, let's go up to Monal restaurant. Drive up the mountain was filled with sharp turns, and I must say it was an interesting ride. Usually like the roads that go up mountains in Canada, they're like, they have wide turns and they go at a steady increase in slope. Yeah, that was an interesting ride. As we arrived at Monal restaurant, it was packed with people. As you can see, the parking lot was filled with cars and they didn't have any space inside, so we had to park a little outside, but alhamdulillah, it was still pretty close. We were all really hungry by this point, so we were very happy to be here. They had these little stalls of toys and cotton candy for kids on the way to the entrance, which I found super cute. And as soon as we entered Manal, there it is. That beautiful view hit me, and subhanallah, it was gorgeous. Like, do you see this? It was definitely a beautiful rooftop view. I had seen this in pictures, and it's even better in real life. So they have a lot of seating available, but they are very busy. Usually you have to make a reservation if you want to get a table at the end where the view is unobstructed. We came here on a very spontaneous trip, so we didn't have a reservation, but we really wanted to sit at one of the end tables right now. But just look at that view, like subhanallah, you can see the entire city below, and look at those lights. And I think this is like the best time to come to Monal restaurant. It just looks so nice. I actually ended up walking around a lot to find a table, and most of the tables that they suggested to us were either in the middle of the restaurant or to the side, but we really wanted an end table because we obviously wanted to enjoy the view. They showed us a few different spots, and they even offered a table inside this little closed area, but since the weather was so beautiful, I really wanted to enjoy like the full ambience outside. They did tell us that we could get an end table, but we'd have to wait for a little bit. We ended up waiting for an end table for about 35 to 40 minutes, which wasn't that bad. I've heard people had to wait like hours, like 1 or 2 hours to get an end table. We had given our order when we arrived, so that way when we got to our table, our order came fast. But can we just take a minute for this menu though? This was the biggest menu I've ever seen. They had so many items and it was like a whole book. We actually took some time to decide what to eat because they had so many options. So we ended up ordering a mixed barbecue platter, chicken handi, and naan. We weren't that many people, so the waiter actually told us that this was more than enough for all of us. Can you guys see? The menu is still going. Like, it is a full book. If I were to speak about the quantity, quality, and the price of, like the food, I would say that the quantity was decent amount and the quality of the food was pretty nice. It tasted good. And price wise, I would say that it's on the higher end. It is a bit more expensive, but then again, we are paying for the ambience, the environment, and that beautiful view. They did have live music playing, so they had a band on the side that was playing live music. And honestly, subhanallah, Islamabad, you are just beautiful, and look at that night view. Way out, we saw this stall that was selling fresh pan. Now, I have only tried pan once in Toronto, and to be honest, I didn't really like it much. But my brother-in-law insisted that I try it here as it's very good. So we bought a few for us and family back home because it was time to head home. But yeah, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. How many of you guys are from Islamabad, and if any of you guys visited Islamabad, if you're not originally from there, what's your favorite place in Islamabad to visit, and have you guys had this pond and did you like it? But yeah, I would love to hear your stories, so let me know in the comments below for sure. This time it was pretty late and Xavier was extremely cranky and I think he wanted to sleep, so we thought it would be best to just head back home now, so that way he would fall asleep on the way home. And Zoe, I had left Zoe at home with her grandparents and she was already asleep by the time we got home. Alhamdulillah, overall I have to say we had a great time in Islamabad and I fell in love with the city. The little bit that I did see, I know there's so much more to explore. Inshallah, next time when I come to Pakistan, I will definitely explore the city more. Faisal Masjid and Monal restaurant, truly they were the highlight of the trip. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and inshallah I shall meet you in my next video. Take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.